Jealous much?" Edgar's voice was weak and filled with pain, but he refused to beg. The axe came down on his other hand. No screaming this time. The string holding his shoe together snapped, and the shoe flopped open, snagging on a rock and sending him into a tumble. He rolled through the bar ditch, and his thigh slammed into the post of a barbed wire fence on the other side. There was a vicious snap. For a short period of time, the pain drowned everything, even the voices. "Drogni stiera crante morde," spoke the deep voice. Although he could not understand the words, they were spoken in triumph. An image tried to push itself into his mind with the words. A figure, darker than the darkness that surrounded it. In a panic he closed his mind to it. "Don't think about it," he whimpered. He tried to push himself to his feet, but his leg collapsed under him. Waves of pain rolled from the place he had struck the pole. Again he heard his wife scream in his ear. His leg was probably broken, but if he stayed and listened to the voices he would go insane. Only the wicked. He used the post to pull himself up. The pain was unbearable. He looked around for something he could use as a crutch, but the only wood for miles was the heavy fence posts and the electric lines. "You're a fool," whispered Edgar's voice as he died. He sank back to his knees. He could not put weight on his leg, but he could crawl. "Don't! Oh, no, 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 no!" wailed Amanda. Maybe a car would come along and he could hitch a ride. Traffic had been sparse, but there was always a chance. Only the wicked. He focused on the pain and dug his elbows into the dirt to pull himself forward. The pain had blocked the voices. Maybe if he hurt badly enough, they would go away. "You can't! You can't!" screamed Amanda. He paused to disentangle himself from his heavy backpack. It was only slowing him down. Only 2 to 5 miles. A car would come, surely. For a moment, the voices faded into an unintelligible jumble. He was getting out. 2 to 5 miles. Maybe it was as short tonight. A deep chuckle sounded in his ear and resounded through his mind, trying to bring with it an image. He shut it out again. Only the wicked. He dug his elbows into the dirt and pulled himself forward. "It wasn't her fault! Damn it, you bastard!" Amanda, again. He kept going. He could still get out. "Cernichai dastera," spoke the unearthly voice. Dark clouds billowed in the eye of his mind, an image of something dark, deadly, a maw full of teeth, waiting for him. No! He crawled even faster. "Murderer!" The voice trailed off into a whisper. "It was their fault. They made me do it," he yelled at the sky. His elbow struck a rock, but he kept pushing. He didn't dare pause. "Korathin larest dukarest," hissed the unearthly voice. A tangled patch of spur stickers rose up in front of his face. He pushed through them, the burrs sticking into his hair, his shirt, a few clinging to his eyebrows and beard. His elbow was bleeding, but he continued to crawl. He was terrified. If he kept hearing that voice, he would see its face. He would understand its words. He could not let that happen. He was lost if he did. A baby cried. "Damn you all!" he screamed. "Don't do it! Don't! Please!" The sound that follows, echoing through his mind, where it has hidden for years, is like a melon being broken open. His wife screams behind him, wordless sounds of misery. He stared down at the scarlet stains splattered on the concrete floor. He had expected more of a crunch, a little more resistance. He turns back towards her, raising his bloody axe. Daniel dug his hands into the hard, dry earth, trying to gain purchase against the rising slope. With every move, agony racked his leg, and the spiny spurs clinging to his shirt pricked him with every move, but he kept going. The long, undulating screams of his dying wife echoed and reverberated through every bone in his body. Only the wicked. The woman's voice whispered once more in his ear. He could see her again, pale and almost translucent. Her face looked sad. Only the wicked. A cacophony of indecipherable sounds rang through his ears. Maybe he would lose the signal at the top of the rise. He could wait there until someone picked him up. Even if it was them, it would be better than continuing through this hell. His fingers scrabbled and he pushed with his good leg, dragged the other behind him. The pain had become almost euphoric. The screams were fading behind him. The voices were dropping to a jumble. If he reached the top, he could rest. They could not follow him there. He would not have to hear that horrible voice, see the creature behind the horror, understand the words. He kept crawling. He was almost there, a little further. When he reached the top of the hill, the voices were gone. A muted background noise. If he still had his Walkman, he would have been hearing the static of a normal radio. He collapsed to the ground, panting and wheezing from his exertion and panic. He lay under the stars, breathing the cool night air. His mouth was dry, but he had dropped all his water with the backpack. If he had to wait in the heat of the sun for someone to pick him up, the thirst could become unbearable. That stirred a quiver of fear in him, but it was a normal, earthly fear, and compared to what he had just been through, it seemed only a worry.